this is where MAGA comes to talk, and I want to talk a little bit about the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And this is an organization, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, that the White House Correspondents Association puts on, is one of the least trustworthy and most suspicious organizations in all of America. I'm going to tell you why in a moment. And it's not because they're fake news, okay? Because it's made up of the fake news, the fake White House press corps. It's not that. And we'll get into it in just a bit. But when I watched the White House Correspondents' Dinner with President Trump last night, there was a particular moment, and I said to myself, holy smokes, what is this organization really about? And, when they had the original White House Correspondents' Dinner and the Never Trumper assassin came in and shot the place up, I learned something about the White House Correspondents Association that was disturbing, and I kind of just put it on the back burner and tuned it out because so much has gone on. And then last night, an announcement was made at that dinner, and sirens went off, okay? So if you watched it, you saw this, but you probably didn't know or realize what I'm about to share. So President Trump actually made the announcement that we've got the outgoing leader of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and then we've got the new one coming in. And I was very surprised at the new one coming in, Jackie Heinrich from Fox News Channel, because she's kind of new on the scene. I mean, she's been I think she's at least I thought, she was the second tier number 2 Fox News White House correspondent. Ducey's the main dude, and she's the second. And when President Trump announced that she was taking over as the leader of the White House Correspondents Association, I was surprised by that. But the organization, what I've seen happen with them is disturbing, and here's what it is, okay? The outgoing head of the White House Correspondents' Dinner is that reporter. Remember, she was there when the Never Trumper assassin came in. She crawled out on her hands and knees out of there. And Jackie Heinrich's the new one, okay? What do you know about these two? The outgoing, she's from CBS, right? The outgoing leader of the White House Press Corps Association was born in China. She was born in China. And now she's been leader of the White House Press Corps Association. And Jackie Heinrich just married, not long ago, a Republican member of the House of Representatives from Pennsylvania. But he's not just a congressman, he's retired FBI. And of course, the FBI is the deep state. So we have someone that was born in communist China who's been leading the organization, and they're handing it over to someone who's the wife of a Republican congressman who's retired FBI. Is that troubling to any of you guys? It's total, they can't be trusted. It's almost like it's a deep state international spy ring. I mean, I'm just, blown away by it. And I found that out about the outgoing when the assassination attempt happened at the last event. I didn't know who she was, and I looked her up. And then Jackie Heinrich, when they announced her taking over, do you think that's appropriate? I mean, what do you guys think about that? So, and I find it incredibly disturbing, don't you? Yeah, it's just not, It's just not, something's just off with it. Give me a yes or no. Okay, so the outgoing head, she was born in China. The incoming head, Jackie Heinrich from Fox, is married to a Republican congressman who's retired FBI. So that means he's deep state. And the FBI is behind almost all of the problems that the president's gone through. Yes or no, is that a problem for you? Is that suspicious for you? Is this some type of deep state international organization? I mean, it's terrible, isn't it? The two groups that hate Trump the most, the CCP and the FBI, because he's gone after Comey. That the FBI, they're a fraternity. They don't forget anything. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's the biggest story of the whole event. You know, I was suspicious of the current one that's on her way out when I found out about her after the shooting, but I just kind of, there's been so much going on, I hadn't thought about it. And then when Jackie Heinrich, because I knew about her background, I'm like, are you kidding me? Really, are you kidding me? And if you see her husband, looks-wise, she's way out of his league, if you look him up. No, I think it's a major problem. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Now, this is not good. You know, people with those two, with connections to those organizations, should they even be in the White House press corps? Should they even be in the White House press corps? I would say no, wouldn't you? Absolutely. MAGA is always awake, just like our president, Trump. Right? That's right, 5 shots of espresso. Is it on? Did they put the tag on? No, I was the first customer. They didn't print the tag and put on it yet. No tag, but it is 5 shots. To me, that's the main story out of that whole event last night. And when he announced that Jackie Heinrich was coming in, I was like, what? I mean, I was like, whoa. Now we know why she's been elevated so much, so quickly. She comes out of nowhere. She's basically like an intern. Then all of a sudden, she's, you know, she's right there next to Ducey at the White House. Now we know why. It's, I tell you, the swamp is deeper than anyone could possibly imagine, isn't it? I mean, it's just, yeah. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. I mean, these people, it is, yeah, I find it, do you guys find it disturbing? Give me a yes or no on that. I find it so disturbing. No? Really? I mean, that's who's after the president more than anyone, are those two. China and the FBI. And the FBI, they're never going to leave Trump alone, right? You know, arresting Comey, you know, firing Comey. They did so much because he fired Comey. Then he gets him arrested. You know, so they'll never leave him and his family alone. They're going to have a lifetime of harassment from them for you know, and Comey, of course, doesn't view anything that he's done as bad. He thinks he's an American hero. And it makes you wonder, does our deep state work with the CCP? What do you guys think? Does our, you know, because I mean, this just, very troubling. If you have not, when I'm done with this stream, go and listen to my podcast from last night. It's the video before this on the channel. I'll upload it to the podcast platforms later, but it's the video before this one on the channel with Laura Loomer and Zelensky, and I went through in detail why Laura Loomer was in Ukraine and why she was interviewing Zelensky. You will not want to miss that podcast. And I was going to do that this morning, but I was watching on social media how people were attacking Loomer, and I'm like, I just can't wait till tomorrow. So I did the podcast yesterday. So it's the video before this on the channel. And if you guys could go and I can't post the links in the chat while I'm live streaming, so I don't have access to the chat. But I break down in detail. It's a video before this, you can't miss it, with Loomer in the thumbnail with Zelensky. I break down in detail why Loomer was in Ukraine, why she was interviewing Zelensky, and how it happened. Okay, and nobody else has talked about it. So. And if you guys could take that video when you go there and like the video and share the video, because Loomer needs people supporting her, not attacking her, like some of these conservative influencers were doing it yesterday, and they should just be, they should really rethink what they're doing. Some of these influencers, they don't think for 3 seconds. There's something trending on X, so they just run and go on YouTube or TikTok or X and start saying crap because it's trending, and they don't even think for a second to see, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? I'll tell you, I watched a movie last night, which is a new movie, and it was very, very good. In fact, it was the best movie I've seen in a long time. It's the movie about D-Day with Brendan Fraser, and it's called Pressure. Isn't it called Pressure? And the main character is the meteorologist that was Eisenhower's chief meteorologist leading up to D-Day. And if you're Gen Z or a millennial, you may not even know what the hell D-Day is and was. That's another reason why you should watch the movie. And it was just an amazing movie. And they showed they showed some of the Normandy invasion, and I got to tell you, I found it to be more graphic and awakening than the beginning of Saving Private Ryan during the Normandy invasion. And I'm watching the sacrifice of all of these men in this movie on the beaches of France, kids, mowed down by the Nazis, and Americans, British, Canadians, all the allies. And then you look at what's happened to Europe. The UK, France, they've been overrun, totally invaded and conquered and colonized by Muslim migrants from the Middle East and Africa. And I'm watching this movie, and I'm thinking, what was their sacrifice for? These cowardly snowflake Europeans. We had this, really we had 2 generations, of Europeans, the British in particular. World War I, the loss of young men in England in World War I was just staggering. The losses they took in World War I in England of young men lost in the war, just devastating to the country. They may still have never recovered from that. And then a few years later, they have the Second World War, and all these young men, some of them younger than 18, really, 16, 19, they sacrifice their whole lives before it begins, right, to defend Europe, to defend England, to liberate France, to liberate Italy, to liberate Europe from fascism, and then they just handed it over to Muslims. And you look at these wimpish snowflake prime ministers that England has, just the biggest low-life, scumbucket, cowardly, wimpy girly men you could possibly imagine that are willing just to hand the country over. You know, but the movie is very good. Brendan Fraser as General Eisenhower, and it is the best movie I've seen in a while. I mean, I you know, when it was over, I was like, it's over, I want more. You know what I mean? How often when a movie's over and you still want more of the movie, it was so good. You know, and it kind of left me, I think I'm going to start reading up again on the second. You know, I've studied the Second World War so much, but it's been so long, and it's important to see so you can see the sacrifice. So you can see the sacrifice. You know, Jasmine Crockett thinks she sacrificed for the country. Are you freaking kidding me? Her biggest sacrifice is when she gets her mani-pedis that they don't have any sandals for her to walk to the car with, and she's, you know, what am I going to do? I just got my pedicure. What am I going to do? And, you know, that back then in the Second World War is when you had leaders, and you had, you know, like Trump, you had leaders and young men who stood up to defend their countries, defend Western civilization. And now, you know, frankly, I'm going to use a crude word, but you know, I'm not going to say it, but the P word. The leader, the men that have been leaders in Europe, they're the P word. A bunch of those, plural, just wimps. And I'm watching the scene. It's called Pressure. Brendan Fraser. It's a very good movie. Everybody should see it. It's free. It came up on one of the apps for free. I don't remember what app it was on, but it was free, so I watched it. And I was a little reluctant to watch it because I have read and studied D-Day so much in school and college. I've seen every movie, you know, and I'm like, you know, this one's about the meteorologist. I was like, that sounds, you know. And I like Brendan Fraser. I'm looking forward to the new Mummy movie because I like the original Mummy, the first one. But I'm like, him as Eisenhower just didn't seem to fit. And I watched the movie and I was just mesmerized. And when they showed I mean, think about it. Those guys, Americans, Brits, Canadians, Frenchmen, all the Allied nations, they opened the doors to those boats on the beaches of Normandy. They're getting mowed down by these Nazis, and they still go, and they still move forward, and they took the beach, and they liberated Europe. And what do we have now? You see what that generation, they're in here now. They're, you know, if they're not gaming, they're watching online porn. They don't care about anything. You know, all they want is their free crap, so they don't have to get off their computers. Yeah, TikTokers, gamers, and losers. Oh yeah, it's all just, you know. They can't change a tire. They can't check the oil on the car. You know. Could you imagine getting two millennials and two Gen Zs, men, guys, I shouldn't say men, male Gen Z and two male millennials, and giving them a car that has a jack and a spare tire and asking them to change the tire? Could you imagine? They'd be completely lost. That's right. That's right. Low T. That's right. Unbelievable. But watch the movie, the Brendan Fraser Eisenhower movie. I believe it's called Pressure. So good. So good. You know, and you look at what's going on in this country, right? In this country, you know, not just Europe. I mean, you know, we've got these Democrat, socialist, communist of America. You'll never have to leave your house. You know, the reason that these young, you know, like I go to. The other day, I went to the grocery store, right? And it's the summertime. It's the summertime. The kids are out of school. There's no high school kids working there. You know, when I was in high school, we worked like full time during the summer. Didn't you guys? Yeah. And I live here in Florida, and down the street from the beach. I grew up by the beach. So, you know, me and my friends, we'd go to, we worked full time. If we worked in the afternoon, sometimes we had to go to work like at 12, 1 o'clock and work till 10, 11 o'clock at night. We'd go to the beach in the morning with all our friends, and then we'd go to work. Now they don't even work. They're not men. We're not training men. And by the way, Andrew Tate is not how to be a man, okay? He's not a role model for men. Now, if you're just joining, I want to recap what I started with. The White House Correspondents' Dinner last night, it just freaking pissed me off. I do like that joke, though, that Trump made about Caitlin Collins. That was pretty good. But, I mean, when's the last time you've seen a teenager? Yeah, I was mowing lawns when I was like 11, you know, and getting paid. Weren't you guys? I get like paid $5 or $6 to mow someone's lawn. My neighbors would go out of town on vacation. They'd pay me to water their plants and crap like that. When's the last time you've seen a kid mow the lawn? The last time I saw a kid mow the lawn was in Trump's first term, when that one boy who was like 11 years old was mowing the lawn at the White House. Remember that? That was it. That was it. Babies, they don't even have babies anymore. You know? But what I started with on the stream here, I want to go over this again because this just pissed me off. So the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night. This is to me sick, twisted, disturbing, and I don't think this has occurred to anyone except me. So President Trump, he introduced the woman who's the current head of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. She's leaving, and he introduced the incoming head of the White House Correspondents Association. The outgoing is the woman who was there the night that the Never-Trumper assassination attempt happened. The outgoing head of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, she was born in China, okay? The incoming head of the White House Correspondents' Dinner is Jackie Heinrich from Fox News, okay? Jackie Heinrich from Fox News, she is married to a Republican congressman from Pennsylvania who Trump said doesn't vote with them enough. He said that last night. But Jackie Heinrich's husband isn't just a Republican congressman from Pennsylvania that doesn't vote with Trump enough, according to the president. He's former FBI. So we got somebody from communist China that's heading the organization now, handing it over to the wife of an FBI guy. Are you kidding me? That's not. The White House press corps is like a spy outpost, isn't it? And they're in the White House every day. What do you guys in the chat room think about that? Is that disturbing to you? I mean, it's very disturbing to me. Nobody picks up on this stuff. Well, being entertaining is good, Billy. Delivering the news and the issues that are very serious, affecting our lives and our world in an entertaining way, that's a compliment. Thank you, Billy, for your kind words that you're too stupid to understand you were giving me. But yeah, that was a compliment. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's some international spy outpost. And it makes me wonder, is our deep state in coordination with the CCP here? Because remember General Milley Vanilli on January 6th called his counterpart in the Chinese army on January 6th. Remember that? Mm-hmm. If you're new to my program, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. Been that way our whole life. Well, hey, listen. Keanu Reeves, you know, Neo was in a bowl of goo his whole life, and he didn't know it. But then when he found out, and he got red-pilled, he did something, you know, about it. Told everybody, you're in the Matrix. All right? I don't know if the White House Correspondents Association has been that way my whole life. I don't think so. I don't think they had Chinese people running it? No. My whole life? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it may have been that way for a while, but I don't think it was this way in the 80s. Mm-mm. Nope. I don't think so. Mm-mm. Well, people want to be disconnected from reality. I get it. A lot of people, it's comfortable to live in the matrix, right? It's bliss to live in the matrix, but we do not live in the matrix. MAGA has been red-pilled. That's it. I think it's a very important point. And nobody even wants to ask these questions. And I don't know how many people have thought about it. It's so normal in Washington, this crap, it probably doesn't even occur to them. Not that they would talk about it if it did occur to them, right? They're so inbred up there and incestuous in D.C., these things don't even register. But it is incredibly disturbing. Yeah. It shows you what President Trump is fighting against, right? What he's up against. And he's overcome it all, but over the weekend on my next podcast, I'm going to cover the plot against J.D. Vance. I mean, there's just too much. There's just too much going on. It's just what they're I'm going to go through in detail on my next podcast what they're doing or attempting to do. They're to J.D. Vance, and I got to tell you, you won't want to miss my next podcast because I want to go through this in detail. The establishment are freaked out over J.D. Vance. They are freak out over J.D. Vance. So that's an endorsement right there. It's a major endorsement of JD. Yep. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys, and don't forget to listen to my podcast. It's the video before this with Laura Loomer and Zelensky on the cover. I go through in detail why Loomer was in Ukraine, how she got there, what she was doing there, why she was interviewing Zelensky. You know, people questioning Laura Loomer and her loyalty just is disgusting. But I broke it all down on my podcast last night, so make sure you check that out. In fact, it's the only topic I covered on the whole podcast. It's a whole podcast dedicated to that because it was so important. That's why I didn't do it on a regular podcast, because I wanted to focus in on what these monsters are doing to the great Laura Loomer, or attempting to do. Stephen Miller's awesome. I mean, when Stephen Miller is speaking, I stop whatever the freak I'm doing and listen. But I'd like to see Stephen Miller be the White House Chief of Staff with the second MAGA president, right? He's Deputy Chief of Staff now under Susie Wiles. I'd like to see him be the Chief of Staff. He's very good. The Chief of Staff runs everything. You know, if he didn't have a future at the White House, he'd be great to take over Turning Point. Stephen Miller is brilliant. The two most brilliant conservative thinkers we have are Stephen Miller and Victor Davis Hanson. And Victor Davis Hanson has a book coming out in September about President Trump being a counter-revolutionary, overturning 50 years of liberalism, and I'm very much looking forward to that book. Marcia, you don't know what the freak you're talking about with your copy and pasted comment. Listen to my podcast episode about it. It's the video before this one, and you'll learn something, okay? Stop regurgitating and parroting some talking points that someone posted somewhere. Get you, expand your mind and listen to my podcast. And I don't think anyone could disagree with what I said and broke down in that podcast about Loomer in Ukraine with Zelensky. I'm not going to go into it now. You got to listen to the episode. You know, what happens if it's going to be JD or Marco? It's hard. It's hard to say. Will they be does Marco want to be number 2 to a millennial? Sometimes it's tough, you know, because JD is kind of like entitled to it because he's the vice president. But Marco Rubio, if they can liberate Cuba, Marco Rubio will get all the credit for that. And I don't know. I would not be. I could see Marco Rubio when Cuba is free. Could you see Marco Rubio being elected president of Cuba? I could see it. Let me tell you, when the communist regime in Cuba falls, I'm gonna go to Little Havana and cover it. I'm gonna go to the Freedom Tower in Miami and Little Havana and make some YouTube videos of it. I can't wait to go experience that. That's going to be wild. Oh, it's going to be exciting. They would be a great team. You know? Marco Rubio said that if J.D. Vance runs, he will not run. You know what I'd like to see? And this is such an outside-the-box thing. I'd like to see J.D. and Marco, unless there's somebody else J.D.'s thinking of that's equally as good as Marco Rubio, but I'd like to see J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio come out and announce at the same time that they're running mates. That they're running, and they're running together from the beginning, before any primaries. J.D. Vance is running for president, and I'm running for his vice president, right out the gate. That would be badass, wouldn't it? That would be so outside the box. I think that would energize MAGA. Oh my goodness. That would blow everybody away. I mean, I'm not talking about just running together. I'm talking about when if J.D. Vance makes his announcement he's running for president, they do it together. They make the announcement that they're running mates together on day one before any campaigning starts. No one's ever done that. Nope. That would be crazy. Oh. The media wouldn't even know how to digest that. They'd be physically ill. And plus, they got 2 of the most important conservative states right there, Ohio and Florida. Yep. Yeah, Pitts, DeSantis. Yeah, that's a good team. Yeah. Oh, CNN and MS Now, they would be physically ill and vomiting on air. Right? It would be epic. It'd be something over the top, like, yes. It'd be a great way to launch it. Ohio can't stand Vance, then why did they elect him to be their senator in a statewide election? And his best friend that his son's named after, Vivek Ramaswamy's in first place in the governor's race. Liberals just make shit up. I'm sorry to say. Don't they? Just make it up. Oh my goodness. We want to fight against Jews? What kind of person are you, JP? Anti-Semitic? I mean, what the hell's that about? Oh, that would be amazing. If they came out together as running mates on day one, be beautiful. It would be beautiful. Yeah, Ohio loves JD, and here in Florida, we love Marco, so it'd be great. Oh, man. Be as good as it gets. Came out as closeted. Who comes out as being in the closet? There's like people that are gay that are coming out that they're in the closet. That doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah, that would be wild. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe, those of you that are new. I live stream every day of the week, and when I'm in the studio, I am taking live calls. Florida is very nice. Florida, this is the best state in the union. There's no state better than Florida. The free state of Florida. That's right. Mm-hmm. Someone's talking pretty loud, walking by. If Kamala would have won, oh my goodness. I wonder how much wine Kamala has had to drink since she lost. What do you think? You guys can run Barack Obama, that's fine. Run Obama again for a third term. Let's see how that goes. Is Ronnie making me Bill Clinton if you want, I don't care. Mm-hmm. Democrats. That's what the president calls them. Democrats. President Trump's Caitlin Collins joke was hilarious. The Bud Light Caitlin Collins joke, oh my goodness. I didn't hear a lot of laughs from the press on that one. That was hilarious. That was the funniest joke of the night. He was trying to get her to smile. She wouldn't do it. She's a miserable girl, Caitlin Collins. Isn't she? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I thought it was hilarious. Didn't you? Who didn't think that was funny? Did you guys think that the Caitlin Collins joke that the president made was funny? I think that was his funniest joke. Yep. I loved it. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was cracking me up. Cracking me up. It's pretty funny. Pretty funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but make sure you guys listen to my podcast about Laura Loomer in Ukraine. And when you go there, it's the video before this one. Make sure you like the video, and when you go and listen to the podcast, and if you could take it and share it on your socials. I mean, Laura Loomer, what she did was amazing in Ukraine, and no one's defending her but me. So. She definitely, not that she needs defending, but, you know, these liberals, they've lost their, you know, there's some of these influencers, they don't have much of a mind that thinks, like, you know, logically. They just react, right? That's basically it. It's more of a reaction than anything else. And on the next podcast, I'm going to talk about what the establishment's trying to do to JD. Liberals believe feelings matter more than facts. That is true. That is very, very true about liberals. No doubt about it. Mm-hmm. What did Itchy say that you're agreeing with? I missed what he said. I missed the comment. Oh yeah, that was a good joke. That CNN already reacted to it last night. They were defending Caitlin Collins. They were, you know. He's right. She doesn't smile ever, and she has no lips. She's lipless. She's a lipless person. The reason they're upset about the joke is because it was funny, right? That's what has them upset. She's always miserable. She's a no talent. She's highly overrated and inappropriate all the time. Oh, it was hilarious. I can't repeat it because I won't do it justice. You'll have to watch the president say it. No, Trump was very funny. I did not watch the Mentalist guy. I just wasn't interested in that. I watched Trump. That's it. I wasn't interested in that guy. I wanted, during the original Correspondents dinner, I was interested, but last night I couldn't get into it. I tried. No, Trump has comedic timing. There's no doubt about that. And let me get yes or no. Do you think that Trump is going to unleash a massive bombing campaign of Iran? It looks to me what they're doing now is hitting these smaller targets just to make sure that they can't fire off anything. Yeah, I think I was expecting to wake up to it this morning. Yeah, there's going to be a massive obliteration going on. Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't done any daylight raids. Did that make you excited, Noel? Liberals pretend to care about U.S. service personnel. Oh yeah, they need to be obliterated. They need to be obliterated. President Trump's Mideast peace plan is absolutely brilliant. That's what this Saudi nuclear reactor is about. The Saudi nuclear reactor deal that President Trump has made, it's got a couple conditions to it. One, it's going to be made by an American company. That's number one. And number two, they have to sign on to the Abraham Accords to get it. Those are two pretty good conditions. You know, these Middle Eastern countries didn't even recognize that Israel was a country. And President Trump's been getting them to do that. It's pretty smart. He's coming up with a permanent Mideast peace plan. That's what he's doing. And he's doing a very good job at it. I mean, look at Syria. Think about it. Syria is like an ally of ours now. Who would have ever thought Syria is an ally of the United States? You've got the president of Iraq coming to the White House as an ally. Who would have thought these things could happen? And now the Mideast peace process there's finally Mideast peace. All that's left is Iran. If Syria and Iraq can become allies of the United States, Iran can be one day too. We just got to get rid of these lunatics that are running it. And they had lunatics running Syria and Iraq for a long time. It'll happen. Iran's ability to fight back is really not there. I mean, every once in a while they get off a shot here or there, but not much. 6 months ago they had, they were a power. They have very little left now. Yep. Now guys, make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. And everyone like the video if you don't mind. That helps so much. South Carolina, welcome. Welcome. Well, guys, I'm going to take off, but don't forget, when you're done watching me here, go and watch the video before this. It's my podcast from last night on Laura Loomer's trip to Ukraine, and I detail why Laura Loomer was in Ukraine, what she was doing there, and why she had that sit down with Zelensky. You will not want to miss it. I break it down in detail. It's the video before this on the channel. The thumbnail has Laura Loomer and Zelensky in the thumbnail. You can't miss it, all right? And when you watch that podcast, make sure you like that video if you don't mind, guys. All right? I will see you later.